Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Vox Markets on Wednesday, the 23rd of June. Starting off with the ADVFN, and here we've got a rising trend channel. Break above the 50-day moving average at 58 pence. Break of that May resistance line there at the same level. So end of day close above 58 pence, looking towards as high as £1.10 as soon as the end of next month. Probably looking for a move which was similar to the April move up in the shares. This stage generally well back below the floor of the channel at 50 pence or sub 50 pence, really questioning the bull argument. On to a requested stock, which is Asimilar, which I've covered quite a few times here before. Interesting that we had a slightly sticky day yesterday with a sort of nudge just below 60 pence, but we're back above the initial June resistance there, or that sort of early June resistance there at 62 pence, and the longer we stay above that, the greater the chance of a move towards 80 pence at the top of that rising November trend channel. This stage only really back below that last swing low, that 55, really delaying the upside scenario, questioning it. On to a stock which sort of caught out the potential bulls, maybe in a positive way. We had the floor of that gap at £1.55 in February. The low yesterday actually down to £1.58.5, let's call it. So the stock actually too strong, Avacta, to head down to that notional chart support, which is a big positive, especially after the decline that we've had from £2.80. Probably what we're looking for now, while we have no end of day close back below £1.55, is an initial target here back at the old March support at £2, and then a return towards the best levels of the year at £2.80. But let's go for £2 first. It's the initial target while we're above £1.55. Any dips towards £1.55 and that February gap would be appreciated if we can get that low. Onto a stock which is maybe rather early in its recovery phase, but worth flagging just to see how it progresses. Applied Graphene Materials. Here we've got stock trying to break out of this falling wedge from March. I mean, so that's part of a broadening triangle that we've got. The top of the triangle there as high as 54 pence, which would obviously be a 2 to 3 month target. But the attraction here, really, the bullish divergence, we had sort of the double bottom there at 25 pence, but decent price action there, well, decent oscillator action there in terms of the RSI indicator, and the longer we stay above that oversold 25 level, the greater the chance of momentum building to at least get us back into the mid to upper 30s, which was last month's resistance for shares of Applied Graphene. Moving along to a stock which is normally when it was sort of one of the private investor favorites. Here we've got Empire Metals. Interesting, the shares have just been in this range between 2.4 and 3.2, so obviously the obvious thing to do is wait for that range to break, but we have an opportunity to buy near the range, just around the 50-day moving average of 2.7 pence, to at least trade the shares up towards 3.25 over the next week or two. And obviously there's always a chance of finally having a breakout after the range trading that we've had. Initial break, I suppose, could be up towards that 4 pence level if we can get through 3.25 on a weekly close basis. Moving along to a rather more obscure situation. Here you can see that we've got GRC International gap through resistance over the last week. That peak there from May at 38 pence. The longer we stay above 38 pence, the greater the chance of a move up towards the top of the rising trend channel from March up towards 63 pence as soon as the end of next month. On to that stock which has sort of had a bit of a shakeout for the bulls. A rather nasty one actually, but it could be something that provides opportunity with Ilika. Here we traded down to around £1.20. That was still actually above previous £1.10 zone resistance, and that's actually almost a plus point that we bounced there. What we're looking for now is an end of day close back above the initial 2021 support at £1.64. If we can get that, we're looking towards the 50-day line at 205 by the end of next month, so maybe worth watching out for that. Stock which I think I covered recently, but has had its day in the sun today. Mercantile Ports gapping through that resistance, the initial June resistance at 0.75. Longer we remain above that on an end of day close basis, the greater the chance of a move towards the top of the rising February trend channel at 1.2 pence by the end of next month. At this stage, only really back below the 50-day line at 0.61, really questioning the recovery for Mercantile Ports. One of the stocks that has been the greatest gift to charting has been One Heritage. We had that island reversal in March. We covered this before quite recently, but gap through the 50-day moving average and never looked back. Almost approaching now the target that we had at the top of the rising January trend channel, just shy of £1.50. End of day close through 150 could give the shares a final spurt towards £1.80 and that March resistance line projection. So let's see, if you're a fan of the shares, you'd be looking for that. Otherwise, the bull argument in place while we hold above the floor of the latest gap at £1.20 on an end of day close basis. So effectively above 120, looking for 180 on One Heritage. A company which has reported some decent news today is Tiziana, and it's sort of slowly getting there, recovering after an extended period, sort of not a great 2021 so far, but good support for the shares at the 50-day line in recent sessions at 81 pence. And while there's no end of day close back below 81, looking for a move towards the, I suppose, the 100 to £1 to £1.10 area, which is the area just up towards the 200-day moving average, and that could be seen by the end of next month. Stock which I've highlighted as one which is a decent momentum play because it's just sort of started, so breaking that initial £1.58 for Thungela Resources, and above that looking for the top of the rising trend channel, notional price channel top from the beginning of the month up towards £2.30 by the end of next month. Finishing off with stock which I've given a bit of coverage to before, but here it is again, Zinnwald Lithium, breaking that line of resistance from March and at 14 pence, and above that looking towards the top of a broadening triangle from January as high as 24 pence, and that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.